Right, so the EWC starting up next week, Thursday. So we're doing our predictions for the Esports World Cup here today. But yeah, I think it's starting Thursday. Anyways, let's get into it. Group A, Energy against FUT, against SSA. I'm going to assume Energy wins that. I'm going to say 3-0. Karmine Corp against APAC. Again, APAC a bit stronger than SSA, but still, I'm going to give EU the victory there. And then in the bracket final, I do feel like both of these are top 4 teams. Karmine still in my head kind of number 1, at least going into this. So I'm still going to give them the victory here. Then FUT against Virtus Pro. I will definitely give FUT a game, but I'm going to give the series to Virtus Pro, who have looked a bit better. And then I'm going to say another 3-0 for Energy in the lower bracket final. And then over to Group B we go. Dignitas against Wildcard. Wildcard have not looked good at all. I'm going to give them a game, but honestly, they don't have much of a chance, in my opinion. Team Secret against Gen G. This one's a little bit more interesting. Secret, they had a really good major, making top 6. Gen G, they were just outside of the top 8. That being said, I do think this is a 50-50 series. Secret as well. Not at the Rally Major, but the one before, they did not that good. I think they went 1-3 in Swiss. So there is definitely a low floor for them as well. I'm going to say they win this one, but I'll say game 5, then Dignitas against Team Secret. Dignitas, I believe they won against Team Secret as well in the Rally Major. So I'm going to give them a 3-0 here in the lower bracket. The wildcard against Gen G. Like I said, I don't really have much faith in wildcard, so I'm going to give Gen G a 3-0 here. And I honestly feel like in a rematch like this, where in the upper bracket they had a really close match, but one team just slightly got the better of the other, I feel like the team that lost that match probably has the upper hand going into the lower bracket rematch. Just, positive momentum. Team Secret will have negative momentum, and they have kind of the mental issue of, we won last time, we should be winning again, but last time was tough. So I feel like it has a weird mental effect on you, and I'm gonna say Gen G will win it in the rematch here to make top 8. And then Group C, Falcons against GK. Falcons won the major, right? So they should be obvious favorites. Oh, no, I do not want to give GK to win, but I will say it goes to game 5. I feel like this might be a tougher match than people expect. Fury against the Ultimates. 2 teams that did a lot worse at the Rally Major than the one before. Ultimates obviously making the final in that one. So maybe they should be seen as favorites. That being said, I do think Furia will win this. I don't know why, but it's a 50-50 matchup. So I guess I've just gone in favor of Furia. I feel like they are just that little bit better, just ever so slightly. And then Falcons, I'm going to be favoring them here against Furia 3-1. And then GK against Ultimates in the lower bracket to stay alive. I'm going to give that to Ultimates 3-1. Yeah, let's say that. And then again, I'm almost going to do the same thing. I feel like it's just going to go the other way in the rematch. But yeah, I don't really think the percentages are going to be that high of rematches going in the opposite direction. But I just have a feeling it's gonna be high in this event, I guess. But yeah, maybe this is an issue with the format as well. Maybe they should have done 2 groups of 8 instead of 4 of 4. But yeah, is what it is. Then Vitality Space Station in Group D. I feel like Space Station, they did really bad at the Riley Major, right? They went 1-3. But the pressure will be off for this one a little bit, compared to a major or Worlds. The pressure, even though there's a lot of prize pools still, the pressure should be off a little bit, I feel like. And Vitality are a team that, if they would be kind of vulnerable to a popping off Space Station, I feel like. So I am going to say 3-2 in favor of Space Station. Vitality don't necessarily have that massive mechanical peak, especially, Exotic and Monkey Moon, they're not as good as they used to be necessarily. So I'm gonna say Space Station could definitely just out mechanic them if they just pop off, and I'm gonna predict them to do so here. Then Twisted Minds against TSM. I don't really have much faith in TSM to make a huge upset anymore. So 3-0 for Twisted Minds. And then Space Station, Twisted Minds. Oof, I think that would be tough for Space Station. I'm just gonna give this a 3-0 for Twisted. Let's say that. Yeah, let's say it's 3-0 for Twisted Minds. And then Vitality 3-0 against TSM. Twist of Minds, by the way, did really well at the major as well, so that's also another reason to really get them this far. Or have the winning against SSG this convincingly. Then Vitality, I'm gonna say, gets the rematch again this time. So yeah, 3 out of 4 times I have the rematch happening, and then the rematch being in favor of the one who lost the initial match. This one in Group A doesn't happen here for me, but yeah. Notice playoffs will be randomized at EWC, so okay, apparently it's not gonna be. It's probably won't be the same as this, but I hope it's not completely randomized, but maybe it will. Anyways, quarterfinals, Karmine Corp against Vitality. Yeah, I mean, historically, this has gone so much in favor of Karmine Corp. It's hard to give it to Vitality. I really don't think this is impossible, though, but yeah, I'll still give this, 4-2 for Karmine Corp. And then Dignitas Ultimates, a tough series, first killer, playing against his former teammate, and Chronic actually, playing against his former teammate, apparently Jack. Dignitas did make the final as well in EWC, and Dignitas are my favorite team, so I am also biased. That's another factor to take into account. Yeah, Dignitas, they were definitely not great in the grand final, but up until then, in the playoffs, they looked really, really good. Are they gonna win against the Ultimates? I am going to say they do, but it won't be close. I'll say 4-3 in favor of Dignitas. Falcons against Gen G. I feel like it's hard to go Gen G in this matchup. I'm just gonna go straight up 4-1 for Falcons. Twist of Minds Energy, another match that Twist of Minds they could probably take. I am going to give it to Energy. I'm gonna say 4-1. I'm gonna say Energy actually got a really good match in that series against a great Twisted Minds roster. And then the semifinals. Do we actually have a third place match? That's kind of crazy. Karmine Corp against Dignitas. Dignitas can definitely win against Karmine Corp, so this is not impossible. I am going to give this one to Karmine Corp though. I'm gonna say 4-2, similar as their quarterfinal. But yeah, Karmine Corp making a comeback after the Riley Major, a little bit disappointing. Well, not just a little bit, very disappointing. Then Falcons against NRG. Okay. Now this is a tough one. Falcons against NRG. I'm gonna have the NA comeback. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say NA comes back in this event. I think I might be very wrong. I think Energy could potentially even have their worst event yet, and lose in the quarterfinals here, I guess, which would not be a good result. But I guess I got some NA hopium coming in, and then for the grand final, I'm gonna say 4-3 for Karmine Corp, and then for third place, 4-2 in favor of Falcons. So those are my predictions. Obviously, Falcons, they could definitely, make the grand final again and win. I think you definitely have to power rank them first or second together with Karmine Corp. They're kind of, even for me. I'm predicting Energy to come back here. I am a bit reluctant to say so, but I'm gonna back Energy here if they don't really, impress in their semifinal match. Assuming they do make the semifinal match, I will definitely alter my expectations for Energy going into Worlds. But for this one, I'm still gonna say Energy, can make that grand final, which they used to always make, every single event, right? But yeah. Anyways, those are my predictions, guys. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you later.